Welcome to Podcasting with Steve. Podcasting with Steve is a weekly video that describes different aspects of starting and developing your own podcast. Now, why would you want to start a podcast? Well, first of all, we're living in the golden age of self-expression. So whether we speak, whether we sing, whether we scribble our ideas on a piece of paper, whether we dance, draw, or doodle, there's a platform out there where we can spread our ideas far and wide. And you know what the best part is? We don't have to ask anybody for permission. Now, why should you personally start a podcast? Well, do you have something to offer the world? I bet you do. Are you a florist? Could you do a weekly podcast on flower arranging? Are you an insurance adjuster? Could you do a weekly podcast on fire safety and how to stay safe overall in your house or in your business? Do you repair bikes? Could you do a podcast on bike maintenance? If you answered yes to any of those questions, podcasting is for you. Today, we're going to talk about editing. We're going to talk about getting your file ready to edit. We're going to talk about editing software, and we are going to do a demonstration on how to edit your work. So the first thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about converting an MP4 to an MP3. When I first started podcasting, as I was doing my first show, figuring that out, delayed release for about 6 months. I had no idea how to do it. And once I found out, it is the easiest part of podcasting. So how do you convert an MP4 to an MP3? Well, one day I went to Office Max and they had a flyer about a tech person coming in and taking any question the customer had to offer. So I brought my laptop in, talked about converting the MP4 to an MP3, and he showed me exactly how to do it. And if I can do it, you can do it. So what I'm going to do is I am going to share my screen now. And I am going to open up Google. And all you have to do is go to convert MP4 to MP3. Could not be easier. Now, I use this one. There's a lot of choices, a lot of options. I use free convert because if it's free, it's me, and I will take 3. And then I go over here to choose a file for my device. I go to downloads. This is the tape, or this is the recording I want to convert. It says MP4, February 8th. So there it is, it's up. I hit convert. And by golly, we have an MP3. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to download it. And there you go. So I'm going to get out of this. Well, first of all, I'm going to stop the screen share for just a second. And then I'm going to load it on to my software. And my software is called Audacity. And the Audacity software is free. So now I'm going to go back to screen share. And that's what it looks like when we're getting started. Now, what I would like to do now is go to File. I'm going to open. And there I am on Download. And look what we see right on top. We see recording. And it's an MP3. So we open it up. And there we have it. So now we've got to make some changes because this recording was not perfect and there are things I want to change. So let's get started. You can listen with me.
3, 2, 1. Thank you, Steve and Anita Jacobson and George Vesey for the great conversation, and thank all of you who listened today. I will put information about carrying Jackie's torch, the players who integrated baseball and America into the show notes. I will also add the link to George's website, georgevesey.com. I enjoy spending time in the community. If you would like to continue.
Oops, I didn't
5,
like the way that went.
4,
so I'm going to do it again.
2, 1.
But before I do it again, I'm going to get rid of the first take. So here's where we go. We highlight it. We cut it. And there you have it. Now this one should be good.
Thank you, Steve and Anita Jacobson and George Vesey for the great conversation, and thank all of you who listened today. I will put the information about carrying Jackie's torch, the players who integrated baseball and America, into the show notes. I'll also add the link to George's website, georgevesey.com. I enjoy spending time in the community. If you would like to continue the conversation, I'm available to speak in person or virtually at your service club, youth group, religious organization, or your Toastmaster.
All right. So let's say I've decided to stop presenting at youth groups. Well, I think this is where I had youth group.
Youth group.
Yeah. So let's say I want to take that out. I do the same thing. I just highlight that part.
Speak in person or virtually at your service club, religious organization, or your Toastmaster.
And there you have it. But let's say I can't make up my mind and now I want to go back to youth groups. Well, you can undo everything by going over here and just saying, yeah, put youth group back in.
At your service club, youth group.
So there you go. Now, once you do the editing, the next thing you want to do is you want to save it. Save project as. I don't need this warning anymore. And it's going to be SAG. And then it's saved. And when I want to go back to it and get ready to release it, I can do that and everything is ready to go. So what I'm going to do is stop the share and ask you, so what's next for you? I think it's time for you to start a podcast. You've got something to tell us. And you can tell us about it through a podcast. And you can also like, share, comment, and subscribe so this message can go far and wide. And we'll find that shining needle of common ground in that haystack of fear.